Well, how about that as a way to get the night started here in Indianapolis? A double overtime affair. Michigan State beating Kentucky. Now it is time for game 2 here inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse as the Duke Blue Devils and the Kansas Jayhawks. They have been waiting a while to play this one, but now they are ready and raring to go.
It's a new season, new city.
It is rocking right now. We are ready for the tip.
A new season and a chance for the Jayhawks to defend their crown.
We're going to be defending a national championship, and we know we're going to have a chip on our shoulder to try to get back there.
New era begins for the Blue Devils with a new coach and new stars.
Move right there.
It's the same identity, a winning culture.
This team knows how to put on a show.
It's a new season. It's a new classic. The Champions Classic.
How much fun is this one going to be? Duke and Kansas, two iconic programs battling here for the second game of the State Farm Champions Classic, all a part of an ESPN Sonic blockbuster. We are here in Indianapolis. Great crowd, great teams, great event, great first game, to say the least. A double overtime win for Michigan State. Now Jay Bilas is with me for the second game between Duke and Kansas. Let's start with Duke. Yeah, it's the dawning of a new era. Jon Scheyer taking over after the legendary coaching career of Mike Krzyzewski. They are 2-0 so far. Jon Scheyer, as we know, has many things going for him. Been in the program a long time as a player, an assistant coach, an associate head coach, and we know he brought in one heck of a recruiting class.
The #1 ranked recruiting class. 5 guys ranked in the top 50. This is a recruiting class with tremendous size, skill, and versatility. Derek Lively II headlines it. Dariq Whitehead will not play tonight, but he's going to be back soon. But you've got a bunch of guys that are lengthy. It's an NBA-sized recruiting class, but really the key to this Duke team, I think, is a returnee, and that is Jeremy Roach. Jeremy Roach had a spectacular NCAA tournament last year. He's really the leader of this team. He's the sole captain for Jon Scheyer this year, playing with a great degree of confidence, averaging 13 points, 6 assists. His voice and his leadership are going to be paramount for this Duke team to reach its potential.
As for Kansas, they are also 2-0 in the young season. This is game 3 of 4 of the school-imposed suspensions for head coach Bill Self and assistant coach Curtis Townsend. So Norm Roberts, who's been with Bill Self forever, also was the head coach at St. John's for 6 years. He is in charge of the team tonight. And as is always the case, yeah, they're the defending national champions, but they've got some turnover on the roster.
They certainly lost a lot, but they have a lot coming back. I mean, Jalen Wilson averages 20 points, 10 rebounds a game, has really improved his play. DeJuan Harris, a player that can dominate a game without ever taking a shot. An excellent defender, got spectacular vision. They brought in Kevin McCullough, who transferred in from Texas Tech, who's an outstanding defender. In fact, McCullough at Texas Tech had 17 points against Duke last year in the NCAA tournament. And so you take a look, you lose Ochai Agbaji, Christian Brown into the NBA, David McCormack, who in my judgment should have been the most outstanding player in the NCAA tournament last year. But with Jalen Wilson back, one of the best rebounders in the country, and then the key newcomers, Grady Dick, who's averaging 17.5 points per game, and then Kevin McCullough, who just blends into everything that Kansas does on both ends of the floor, can drive it, a good rebounder, positional size, and an excellent defender, one of the semifinalists for the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year award last year.
Grady Dick, as good a shooter as there is in the freshman class this year across the country. With more on him, here's Holly Rowe.
Grady Dick has been waiting for this moment for all of his life. He grew up as a die-hard Kansas fan. His mom told me his entire room was decorated in KU stuff, and he watched his 3 older siblings all went to Kansas. He also has a special connection tonight, playing against one of his high school buddies for the first time in college. He and Mark Mitchell have been best friends, roommates, playing together since 8th grade. They both went to the same prep academy together, and he said this is going to be really special. These two guys that know each other so well competing tonight. But for Grady Dick wearing the Kansas uniform, what a full circle lifetime story. We'll see how he does tonight against Duke and his old friend.
Holly, thank you. One of the many cool subplots, if you will, in this game here tonight. Just having Duke and Kansas on the same floor is cool enough, and we hope the second game is just as entertaining as the first game was, as the Jayhawks and the Blue Devils are just about ready to go here in Indianapolis. Kansas 6-5 all time in the Champions Classic. Duke is 7-4, but Kansas has won 2 of the 3 between the two schools in this outstanding event, which we're excited to say is coming your way again next year in Chicago on November the 14th. A young Duke team, extremely talented, but young. They do have a couple of transfers in Ryan Young from Northwestern, Jacob Grandison from Illinois. So that lends a little bit of experience. And for Kansas, again, a mix of the old and the new. Kansas has beaten Omaha by 25, North Dakota State by 23. Duke beat Jacksonville by 27, USC Upstate by 46. So needless to say, Jay, a big step up for both programs here tonight.
Yeah, this will be the toughest game that each program has played in this young season. And for Duke, Jon Scheyer has built his program, and the foundation has been defense, and this team has defended very well the first couple games. This is going to be a special challenge because of the way Kansas moves the ball from side to side.
Ready now for the tip of our Sonic blockbuster matchup. And Duke in blue with the opening possession of the game, and the ball in the hands of their captain, Jeremy Roach. Three freshmen on the floor for the Blue Devils, including Tyrese Proctor, number 5, an 18-year-old from Sydney, Australia. And now here's Mitchell, who's off to a great start. In the corner, the 3 is too strong for Kyle Filipowski, as tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Dove Men Plus Care, and DeJuan Harris at the point for Kansas. McCullough elevates from the elbow, but he misses it too strong.
On the first possession defensively for Kansas, you saw the Jayhawks switching, and they're going to try to put as much pressure as they can on Duke, see if they can turn the young Blue Devils over. And both teams are looking to keep the other out of transition, especially Duke trying to keep Kansas out of transition.
How about the strength there shown by Jeremy Roach for the opening bucket of the night? Harris the kick. Jalen Wilson a good look for 3. And then the rebound down to Filipowski.
Well, Wilson has been the top 3-point shooter for this Kansas team. He was 6 of 13 going into that shot on the season.
It'll go down for Filipowski, one of the very talented freshmen from Westtown, New York, ranked 7th in the country on the ESPN 100 coming into the season.
He was Jon Scheyer's first recruit. He is big and strong and can really shoot it from the perimeter. Good cut.
Harris finds McCullough in the corner, and the Texas Tech transfer knocks down the 3.
Well, it might not have been the prettiest play, but that was an excellent cut by DeJuan Harris, and he just got outstanding vision. That's his 14th assist on the season with only 1 turnover. 14-1 is a good ratio.
Of about 14. Norm Roberts telling us before the game today, not that we don't want him to shoot, but he can go through a game without a shot and still be the most important player on the floor for KU.
You know, I think when he first got to Kansas, Norm Roberts was saying, you know, he wasn't sure he got it. Can he play at this level and be a great player? And the more you watched him, the more you realized he knows how to play and just influences the game on both ends of the floor. He's an excellent defender, and he's taken Jeremy Roach. He's got length, great hands.
Here's Young. The kick in the corner. Mitchell with a shot fake, but he stepped out of bounds.
Well, you mentioned Ryan Young, who transferred into Duke as a grad transfer from Northwestern, where he played for Chris Collins. And Young may not look like the best athlete out there, but he's got great footwork, really good feel. And even though he's not going to go up over you, he's got a tremendous feel for getting the ball up and off the rim, and he's an excellent offensive rebounder.
11.5 points, 7.5 rebounds per game in the first 2 games of the season for Duke. McCullough. What a catch. Yeah, KJ Adams in some traffic inside, and he's fouled.
The Kansas, Dan, wants to play fast. And when I say that, I don't mean just up and down the floor north-south. They want to play fast and running their half-court offense and moving the ball from side to side. And they want to get downhill. Get into the lane, force help, then they can kick out of it and continue to play.
And this, to a certain extent, is kind of a size versus speed matchup in this game, right?
In a way, but Duke has tremendous size. Great job getting the ball to an angle. The ball went to McCullough, and KJ Adams moved his assignment up the lane, but getting it to that angle meant that McCullough could just throw it up to the rim, and Adams could just wait for it to go over his head. Bill Self has always been known for that.
What a crossover by Roach, the follow by Young.
Well, great job by Ryan Young not to give up on that play. Nobody there to block him out because they went for the block shot.
You talked about what a great offensive rebounder he is. That's his 11th offensive rebound of the season already. The first shot attempt of the night for Grady Dick. What an offensive rebound and a putback for Jalen Wilson.
Grady Dick gets that shot off so quickly. And I think Jalen Wilson, one of the best rebounders in the country, and has proven it over the last 2 years.
Roach trying to get into the paint again, and it's out of bounds. Still Duke ball. Roach obviously more of a complimentary player last year with all of the star power that Duke had, but John Shire will tell you he feels he's as important and as good of a guard as there is in the country, given what they're going to ask of him this year.
Well, he was a star in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Duke doesn't get to the Final Four without the play of Jeremy Roach. That's how important he was.
Proctor in and out. And still Duke ball.
Tyrese Proctor reclassed. He was supposed to be in next year's recruiting class. He's from Sydney, Australia, and has played a lot of high-level international basketball. And he has not gotten untracked yet. Has not played his best game. But he's a big-time talent.
Good matchup of very talented freshmen here in Proctor and Grady Dick. And it's Proctor called for the foul.
And I think Duke is going to look to try to attack Grady Dick on the defensive end, make him guard. I mean, he's an excellent offensive player. He's not quite there yet on the defensive end, but that was a really good defensive possession by Grady Dick and guarding Tyrese Proctor.
And what about the matchups with Roach on Grady Dick? And they're switching a lot too, but as Wilson knocks one down, and Kansas in a nice groove right now at the offensive end.
That you mentioned groove. They're getting in a rhythm of moving the ball. And once they get some screens, get some switches and rotations, you know, it's not the initial action Duke needs to guard. They need to guard multiple actions.
Good defense by Wilson, made it tough on Filipowski despite giving up a lot of size.
Yeah, made it tough for him to shoot over, and then got to the glass and got the rebound. Great pass.
Wilson the assist, and McCullough another three.
Kansas is really doing a good job of getting downhill and drawing help. And once they draw that help, they are passing out of it and attacking.
3 subs ready to check in for Duke. They're down 6 already. Knocked out of bounds by Adams. Duke ball, but all the momentum in the early going, Jay, belongs to the Kansas Jayhawks.
Well, Jalen Wilson has been excellent thus far on both ends of the floor. And Wilson putting the ball on the deck, drawing help, and then passing cross court to Kevin McCullough. That little baseline drive on baseline drift, and then the little pitch back, the ball screen, and bang. Wilson's really improved that shot.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by State Farm. The State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you create an affordable price just for you. They added a banner at the Phog. The defending national champion Kansas Jayhawks, the 6th national championship in the program. It has been a while since anybody's been able to repeat as national champions. You got to go back to Billy Donovan's Florida Gators back in 2006 and 2007. Again, a lot of differences, some new faces, but a lot of really good pieces in this program right now.
Really good pieces, but when you look at all those repeat NCAA champions, they have one thing in common. They had almost everybody back in the year they repeated. And it's awfully difficult, obviously, to do it even when you have everybody back. But in this day and age, the chances of having players come back, that was what was so extraordinary about Billy Donovan in Florida, was you got Joakim Noah and Al Horford and Corey Brewer coming back for another year and turning the NBA down.
Yep. No subs for Kansas out of the timeout. 3 for Duke. Good look. And the Blue Devils fortunate that Wilson didn't knock that one down.
Jalen Wilson just looks so good out there. I mean, he has really improved. He's such a mismatch and so versatile. but he's improved his shooting, both spot up, pulling up, just looks so much more comfortable as a shooter.
Just 2 games in against lesser competition, granted, but 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists per game in the first 2 for Wilson. Jalen Blakes, who has given the Blue Devils some good minutes off the bench in the early going. Now Grady Dick, and up against his old high school teammate in Mark Mitchell, and he finishes.
What a great pass out. And then Grady Dick uses his body so well to shield off and draw the contact, yet still finish the play. Just a fantastic pass by Jalen Wilson, but watch how he body seeks. So he's looking right at Mitchell when he draws the contact and then takes his eyes up to the rim. Your eyes make layups, and he never took his eyes off the rim once he found it.
Known more as a great shooter than anything else, both Grady Dick and Mark Mitchell played at Sunrise Academy in Kansas, and as Holly told you, they have been friends forever now, going against one another here in this game. Grandison, the transfer from Illinois, wide right on the 3.
Almost like Grandison, who transferred in from Illinois. He started his career at Holy Cross from Oakland, California, but I think John Shire thinks he shot that as an afterthought and not the shot that Duke was looking for.
Now with the ball, Bobby Pettiford in off the bench for Kansas, a guy who, as Norm Roberts told us, finally healthy, has had multiple injuries while in the program, but boy, has he been a spark for them in their first 2 wins. Now a turnover, and then Blake stumbling, couldn't keep it in bounds, and gives it right back to Kansas.
That might have been Kansas's first turnover of the ball game. They've been very good with the ball early on in the game, in the first 6-7 minutes.
So Pettiford at the point again. Ernest Ude Jr., a 6'11 freshman from Orlando, was into the game now for the Jayhawks, so a little more size for them at the 5 spot.
And Ude Jr. is a lob threat. He'll set screens, roll to the basket.
Wow, what a look. Pettiford, turnaround by Grady Dick, too strong. Wilson off the glass and good.
He just got into Filipowski and moved him underneath.
Jay, it's a 12-0 run for the Jayhawks.
Kansas is playing really hard on the defensive end. That's what's led, I think, to some of this offensive rhythm. They've established the rhythm with their defense, and they've done it by pressuring the ball. They've communicated well. When they've had to switch, they've done it.
Grandison, no, and the rebound down to Wilson. He is flying all over the place out there tonight.
He has been everywhere.
McCullough's already knocked down a couple of threes. And lost it. Looked like he was kind of undecided between dishing and trying to score the ball.
Well, he was trying to get it to Ude Jr. And he set that little ball screen. And Ude Jr. was trying to roll to the basket. And really what McCullough probably should have done, just throw it up to the rim.
And you see the depth of this Kansas team. You know, with some of the players they're bringing off the bench. In the second unit right now, Joseph Yesufu, transferred from Drake a couple of years ago. He's a solid player. He's into the game. And they're without M.J. Rice, a very talented freshman out of Durham, North Carolina, ironically, who is under the weather and did not make the trip, as Duke gets a much-needed bucket from Roach.
Yeah, Kansas going with basically 9 players in this one.
Yesufu kicks it back out to Wilson. Lots of time. Ooh, and a bump from Grandison. They play on. They're swarming him. Forced him to give it up. McCullough too strong. Yesufu comes out of there with it. Look at this one. Way deep attempt there by Wilson. Not sure that Norm Roberts loved that shot.
Well, it was a great job by Yesufu to get down on the floor and get that. But that's one where I think Wilson settled for a really deep one where he could have just put the ball on the deck and attacked.
Jay, haven't said the name Derek Lively II yet. 7'1" freshman.
You just did.
Well, until now, yeah. Number 1 ranked recruit in the nation coming in. Number 1 for Duke out of Philadelphia. Tell us about him.
Well, he is a rim runner, lob threat, who's very skilled, can really change ends, and he can block shots. So a terrific rim protector. Hasn't played a ton. He's only one game back and didn't play a ton in that one, but really talented player.
Yeah, had a calf injury that cost him the first game. And Proctor, wow. Proctor got called for a flop. Jon Scheyer didn't like the call. And remember the new rule this year, there's no more warning on that. That's a Class B technical foul, and that'll be a free throw for Kansas.
It looked like he was touched. Now, whether he needed to fall down or not, but I thought he got touched on this shot. I thought it was more likely to be called a foul. Like he got hit on the hand there.
And he landed on the foot of Ude, it looked like. So Jon Scheyer looking for an explanation from Doug Sermons, but it will be a free throw coming for Kansas when we come back. Back, a very nice start for Kansas. Another look at the play. Proctor elevates for the jumper and comes down on the foot of Ude, is called for a flopping foul.
Yeah, and look, that's a point of emphasis. There's no more flop warning. It's an automatic technical foul. It's a Class B, which is one free throw. And so the officials are resolute in calling that. The Rules Committee wants flopping out of the game, that kind of thing. The problem is that Proctor was fouled. And, you know, now whether he landed on Ude or not, but he was hit on the arm. So the officials unfortunately missed a foul there, but you're going to see a lot of these flop calls that used to be warnings, and that's a creature of the Rules Committee.
So a Class B technical foul is one free throw, which Wilson misses. It does not count as a personal foul or a team foul. And then it's point of interruption, so the ball goes back to wherever it would have been played had there been no flop call, and it's Kansas ball. Yesufu inbound for the Jayhawks. He and Pettiford in the backcourt.
Right now Kansas is significantly smaller, but being smaller they got some leverage and they can really motor. There it is, the lob. They like to go lob out of timeouts, and well defended by Duke to knock it away.
And out of bounds off Grady Dick, so it goes back to Duke. Just 8 points in 8.5 minutes so far for the Blue Devils.
Horn set up top, then a rescreen, and roll replaced with Grandison out top.
Nice kick from Roach, missed three. Ude down with a rebound.
Kansas done a good job with all 5 guys getting the defensive glass.
You know, it feels like Ude, and it'll probably nice feed. Beautiful reverse by Grady Dick.
Boy, what a fabulous cut by Grady Dick, and that finish on the other side of the basket. That's big time.
You talk about moving without the basketball. He's got that down to a science right now.
Well, anytime that the ball comes at you, a basket cut is usually the right answer.
Proctor into the paint. The kick out to Blakes. And surrounded and fouled.
Now, we've seen Kansas put the ball on the deck and try to turn the corner. Now, as soon as Jalen Wilson dribbled at Grady Dick in that left corner, Dick just immediately goes baseline and gets past Jacob Grandison. That meant that Derek Lively II had to come over. He's able to avoid, go to the other side of the rim and shield off the blocked shot. That was just a big time cut, big time play by Grady Dick, the freshman.
2-time Gatorade Player of the Year in Kansas, ranked 14th on the ESPN 100 coming into the season, and again known more as a shooter. 47% from three as a high school senior, but we have seen that his game is not just about shooting.
Oh, well, he can play in transition, and he can finish. Got good length, but you know, his strength, he can really shoot it, but he's a very good cutter.
Yesufu too long, gets it back. Shot clock didn't reset. He'll try it again. A little bit closer, but still too strong, and it's down to the Blue Devils.
Duke with an opportunity to run here.
Good hands by Pettiford, but Blakes comes up with it, and a foul, I believe, on McCullough. And it is.
So Duke wants to make Kansas a half-court team, to take them out of transition. But one thing, I don't think Duke wants to play against Kansas is pressure 5-on-5. So the Blue Devils are going to have to find a way to push the ball up the court and get some quick scores without having to run 20 seconds of offense, because Kansas does a good job. They have so many versatile defenders. They can switch at just about every position.
Blake's at the line for Duke. Last year appeared in 21 games, played a total of 93 minutes. So 4.5 minutes a game, thereabouts. He figures to have a much bigger role, don't you think, this season?
Yes, because he's a very good defender.
Point right there. Knocked it away. If they chart deflections, one for Jalen Blakes and a deflection there by Tyrese Proctor. 11 on the shot clock for Kansas.
Well, if Kansas can put Ryan Young into some ball screen situations right now, I think they can attack.
There it is. Harris finds an open to McCullough, tries to shake his defender and threw it away. And now numbers potentially for Duke. Blake's right into the chest of Harris, and that's a pretty easy call for the offensive foul. He didn't think so, looking to his bench. I thought Harris was there in plenty of time. Don't know what you thought, but it looked like Harris was waiting for him.
Yeah, the standard is 2 feet on the floor facing the ball handler. I mean, look, it looked like he was sliding to me, but
Yep.
yeah, 50-50 call, as they say. It can go one way or the other. It's either right or wrong, one way or the other.
Deflected away. Blake's did deflect it. Duke was pleading for the ball, but he did deflect it before it went off Grady Dick into the backcourt. And now another deflection. Well, Duke they've picked it up at the defensive end the last couple of minutes.
Much more active. And Kansas needs to use some shot fakes, ball fakes.
Knocked out of bounds again. 4 on the shot clock. Kansas ranked 6th in the nation right now. Duke 7th. Each team 2-0. But this is by far the toughest game that each has faced so far this year. Dick from the corner. Can't knock down to 3. And here's Proctor in transition. A great look ahead to Mitchell. And we've got another offensive foul. This time Yesufu stepping in to take the charge.
Now that one looked a little more like a charge. Close, but looked like he got there. First one, not so much.
Got to be there before the offensive player leaves the floor.
Yeah, so technically you can have the offensive player can be fully committed, but as long as his big toe is still on the floor while you're still moving, the defensive player wins that battle.
Adams thought he had McCullough cutting back door, and now Kansas turns it over.
Duke trying to ratchet up the pressure, got a turnover out of it. You can't really fake going back door. You just have to go.
Young. He's got some moves down there, and it'll go.
A little bit unorthodox, but just fantastic footwork, really good hands, and an excellent feel in the post.
And John Shire told us he is very familiar with Ryan Young's game. Of course, he played at Northwestern for Chris Collins, former member of the Duke staff for years, as Adams lays it in. So Shire knew all about Ryan Young when Young put his name in the transfer portal, but did say that the first thing he did was call Chris Collins and say, how do you feel about this? And Collins said, he's not coming back here. If he goes anywhere, I'd like him to go to you.
Last time down, Kansas ran a little ball screen action out of the middle of the floor. That eliminates help. That's an area where I think the Jayhawks can continue to attack.
Harris, great vision, huh? McCullough, and it'll count. Boy, he lost his footing, and he's favoring his back right now. It looks like he stumbled a little bit, but still made the shot.
Just a fantastic pass by Harris to get it back to McCullough, and he does look like he might have tweaked his back a little bit there. I hope he's going to be okay.
One more look going into the timeout. McCullough extends the Kansas lead to 8.
Terrific shot fake. And kisses it off the glass. Well, when Kansas can spread the floor against Duke and get some passing and cutting, they're very effective, and especially when DeJuan Harris has the ball. Gets it to KJ Adams, nice little backdoor cut, mishandled it, but still able to get it to Kevin McCullough for that corner three. And then Jalen Wilson up top. You watch him on this cut and drive. He draws help and then is able to kick it cross court to McCullough, who drops the three, has hit one from each corner. And DeJuan Harris has been such an efficient passer this season. And I think even though this is a small team, they're not as big as they've been in the past. As their young guys continue to get better, I think Kansas is going to be able to play at a quick tempo and really move the ball and move it from side to side and get downhill and cause opposing defenses a lot of problems.
Yeah, David McCormick is now playing professionally overseas, as is Mitch Lightfoot. Boy, the Lightfoot era went by like in a heartbeat, right?
Yeah, it only took like 12 years.
All right, let me throw a stat at you. Tell me what you make of this. Kansas 10 made field goals, 7 assists. Duke 6 field goals, 0 assists.
Yeah, it shows that Kansas has been really moving the ball. That's the third charge that the Jayhawks have drawn. Grady Dick picking up the charge against Tyrese Proctor. So the Jayhawks have done a good job of putting pressure on. Their help side defense has been alert. They're rotating, and they're putting their bodies on the line.
An 8-point lead, 7.5 to go in the first half. Second game of the State Farm Champions Classic. If you missed the first one, it was something else. Michigan State beating Kentucky in double overtime. Wilson misses the runner, and Duke comes back 5-on-4.
Wilson got the switch, got Filipowski on him, but he had to finish it. He was able to get to the basket, but he got to finish over that size.
How about Adams with a rejection on Filipowski, but then eventually a Kansas foul. Well, we mentioned Kentucky losing to Michigan State in the first game. They've got a terrific looking game against Gonzaga coming up. That is in Spokane, not at the Kennel, downtown at Spokane Arena. Sunday night, 7:30 Eastern, right here on ESPN. Love these big early season games.
Yeah, and so many outstanding big guys came back for another year. Shibwe, Timmy, Armando Bacot, who had 6 straight double-doubles in the NCAA tournament. That's never been done before. Zach Edey, Adama Sanogo from UConn, who's really improved his game. Jamarian Sharp from Western Kentucky. There's so many quality big guys. And a lot of people are calling it the year of the big guy. The guards are going to be heard from, though.
You love seeing more bigs in the game, though, as a big guy yourself, right?
Exactly. Finally getting their due.
That's the first shot attempt of the night for Harris. And now Filipowski in transition has it taken away. He and Adams collide and go down, and 3-on-5. Wilson lays it in transition.
Boy, if you needed evidence why Kevin McCullough was a semifinalist last year at Texas Tech for the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year award, you just saw Exhibit A. Backing up and still able to take that ball away from Kyle Filipowski. This great hand, saves it, and ultimately that save led to a bucket at the other end by Jalen Wilson. That should be a hockey assist. He should get an assist in addition to DeJuan Harris.
Filipowski over Wilson for 3, and how about a 7-foot freshman showing the ability you talked about. He can really shoot the ball.
Well, averaging a double-double, 12.5 points, 11 rebounds coming into this one, his first 2 games.
And the high arcing jumper is there for Grady Dick, and it's a 7-point lead for Kansas.
Well, he does not seem like a freshman. Has the poise of a senior. Unafraid.
Norm Roberts says, well, 2 things. He's really tall. He's 6'6", and he's shot ready. So he's able to get his shot off at just about any time.
Well, the shot ready is great, but he's shot maker, too.
Yeah.
It goes in.
And good hands there to force a turnover. Nice crossover. Walk. Yeah.
Just a terrific little shot fake there. And when you have that kind of what I would call shot credibility, you got to close out quickly to him and he can give you a little shake move and then put it on the deck and pull up. I mean, that was just a beautifully executed play by a guy who knows how to play.
He's got 7. Wilson and McCullough each with 8 to lead the Jayhawks, and another offensive foul going against the Blue Devils. 5th offensive foul of the night committed by Duke.
Now, did that go on Grandison or was it on a screen?
It was on Grandison.
He must have just used his off arm there to ward off the defender. But Kansas does such a good job of moving the ball from side to side.
McCullough inside. Uday battling for it, missed it. Roach with a nice look ahead to Blanks. And 2 blocks by the Jayhawks. Man, are they getting after it at the defensive end.
What an amazing sequence by Kansas.
Oh, and then you would have had the highlight reel of all highlight reels if they could have turned 2 blocks into an alley-oop at the other end.
Well, it's 2 blocks and getting on the floor for a loose ball. Harris, the block. Uday Jr., the block. And then sliding across the floor to get a loose ball to take it the other way. That's just big time.
And McCullough, another steal. But then again, a little out of control in transition as he threw it too far.
Roger Ayers went into the stands there. Hope he's okay. Now, Kansas has made so many good defensive plays, but they've not capitalized on it. Like they actually, with the way Kansas has played, they should be up more than 7.
Yeah, it feels like it's kind of a 15-point game, but it's not. Almost another turnover. Filipowski and the follow on the weak side there for Lively.
Anytime you go after a block shot, that opens up the offensive glass, and Lively, he can really get up.
So how do you envision the 2 7-foot freshmen playing together for Duke?
Very well, because they're both skilled. I mean, they're different. You know, Lively's more of a rim runner, shot blocker, rim protector, and Filipowski can play out on the perimeter.
Roach, no, tip back out by Lively. Again, it feels like more, but all of a sudden it's down to 3 with a chance to go to 2 on the drive by Roach.
And in large measure, I mean, it's because Duke has hung in there, but Kansas has not taken advantage of its opportunities in transition after excellent defense.
Roach with a baseline drive and the foul as well. And this game's getting closer in a hurry.
One thing, Michigan State won. I'll show you why.
Guys, thank you. Looking forward to it. Jason Tatum having some fun. Former Duke star. Enjoying a night off by watching the old program play here in Indianapolis. Second game of the State Farm Champions Classic. And it's a 2-point game in a game that has not felt that close.
Well, it's remarkable the number of turnovers in the first half. Duke's coughed it up 10 times. A number of those have been offensive fouls. 3, maybe 4 of those have been offensive fouls. And Kansas has coughed it up, 8 or 9 times.
And the 2 teams are a combined 3 for 19 from 3-point range.
Yeah, Kansas, the 2 they've hit have come from Kevin McCullough, 1 from each corner.
Zuby Ejiofor into the game now for Kansas. Number 35, a 6'9" freshman from Garland, Texas, as now we have an offensive foul going against the Jayhawks.
Yeah, it looked like it went on the screening action and that little flex action that Kansas ran on out of bounds underneath. You know, another turnover. But a number of Kansas's turnovers have come in transition when they had advantage situations. You know, those are kind of gut punches. They'd worked so hard to get the ball and then pitched it away. Duke trying to spread the floor a little bit, and Filipowski coming out instead of the cross screen, comes out to shoot the 3.
And Ejiofor rips down the rebound, knocked out of bounds, but still belongs to the Jayhawks. So Kansas bringing a little bit more size in off the bench tonight. Ernest Uday Jr., Zuby Ejiofor, because really in their starting lineup, KJ Adams, who's 6'7", and plays bigger than that, but he's really their 5-man in the starting lineup. Harris, nicely done.
He is slippery.
Crossover by the 7-footer.
He just lowered that shoulder.
He might feel differently when he sees that one later on. Doesn't love the call right now, but yet another offensive foul.
No, there's no question that was an offensive foul. It's he went just put that right shoulder right into the chest of Jalen Wilson, and yet another turnover for Duke. How many charges have they had?
I think
5 or 6.
6. Yeah. Wilson from the elbow. Yes. Assist to Pettiford.
Just a little simple brush screen pick and pop. And that was a pretty shot over the outstretched arms of Kyle Filipowski. And it shows how Wilson has, he shot that in rhythm, didn't rush it.
Blakes with a corner 3. Pettiford with a rebound. Filipowski takes it away.
What a play by Filipowski. That's a big time pass there.
So we've seen a steal, an assist, a 3-pointer, a lot of good stuff from Filipowski. And now he stays with the Wilson. Harris up top, and the finish for Ejiofor.
Boy, that middle of the floor, middle third pick and roll is so hard to deal with. There's no weak side help there. You set that screen and roll to the basket, you just throw it up to the rim.
And Jay, that is 6 assists now in the first half for DeJuan Harris Jr.
But he's doubled his turnovers.
Yes.
He had 13 assists and 1 turnover coming into this game, and I think he's doubled it. He's got 2 now on the season.
Imagine one. You have 6 assists and 1 turnover, and your assist to turnover ratio gets worse. Hang with him. But he's the kind of guy, as Norm Roberts says, the more you watch him, the more you appreciate him. Wilson, no. Grady Dick flying in there, kept it alive, but it comes down to the Blue Devils. Quick 3 there for Roach.
A neck ball. We led the nation in that.
Always good to have Raph here, whether it's in person or with you. Into the final minute here of the first half. We'll step aside for 30. Kansas leading Duke by 6.
Now let's take a look at Kansas. They're going to get a little ball screen here, then another one from their second big guy. Come around, and all of a sudden you're going to be able to lob it up to the bucket. So here's the second ball screen in the middle of the floor. You got Ejiofor. You just throw it right up. There's no weak side help because it's right in the middle of the floor. In that middle third of the floor, if Kansas keeps attacking there, I think they're going to continue to get some good things. Putting Duke in a position to have to hedge on that screen and then pick up the roll man at the same time. Otherwise, DeJuan Harris can just turn the corner, get all the way to the basket by himself. Those are really difficult things to guard in that middle third.
Harris, the redshirt junior from Columbia, Missouri, having a very solid night, as he always seems to do. And Kansas with a 6-point lead and the ball. Grady Dick from the corner, short on the 3, but again, a great find again by Harris.
Basically the same action, that ball screen middle third of the floor, and DeJuan Harris does a really good job. It's almost like a Steve Nash dribble. He keeps it and goes underneath the basket and found Grady Dick in the opposite corner.
And now timeout, Jon Scheyer. His use it or lose it timeout here in the last 30 seconds of the first half. Jon Scheyer playing for 4 years under Mike Krzyzewski, won a national championship, was an All-American in 2010, then on the staff in Durham for 9 years. And we had a chance to talk with him today. You and I both known him for a long time, and boy, he seems comfortable in the transition, doesn't he?
He's built for this.
Yeah.
I mean, John was a great player at Duke, not a good player. He's one of the all-time greats at Duke. You mentioned the 2010 NCAA championship where he's captain. He's been on Coach K's staff for 9 years. Last year was named the next head coach at Duke University, and I mean, he's built for this, and he's got a great demeanor. He's great with the players, and he's proven to be a spectacular recruiter.
Great class this year, great class next year. Chris Carrawell on the staff is the associate head coach. Emil Jefferson has joined the staff. And Jay Lucas, right to Jon Scheyer's right there. The first time in a long time that a non-Duke player has been an assistant on the staff. As Roach will head to the line.
If there were a coaching staff pickup game or coaching staff tournament, I think Duke would be up there.
They'd be in pretty good shape.
One, most of them are still really young.
Yep. So here's Roach. Jon Scheyer telling us also that Roach's voice has grown this year. Again, he's the most experienced player on the team. He is the lone captain on the team, and they've asked him to have more of a voice with his teammates down the middle, and you hit it out of the park. Well done. Shot clock turned off. Harris trying to turn the corner. 4 seconds left. Pettiford. And the follow won't go for Ejiofor at the horn. And Kansas again in a game in which it has felt like they have led by more and should be ahead by more. They're still up, but only by 4 at halftime as we check in with Holly Rowe, who's with Duke head coach Jon Scheyer.
Well, Coach Scheyer, your team doesn't get off to a great start. They're down 17-6, but what did they slowly start to do to claw right back in this?
Well, we just got stops. You know, at the beginning of the game, we didn't get many stops. I thought we were a little nervous on offense to start, so we settled in the game. And after all that, it's a 4-point game.
You're getting a lot of offensive fouls called on you. They're drawing charges. How do you adjust to that in the second half?
You know, I'd rather have our guys drive strong, and that's something we'll have to work through. Keep driving strong, make reads from there. But in the beginning, we were just driving finesse. So it's better to drive strong, and then we'll make the right read from there.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Holly.
Holly, thank you. Good game. Kansas and Duke with the Jayhawks leading by 4 at halftime. Once again, back to the studio with Reese and the guys. Welcome back to the State Farm Champions Classic. Terrific first half for Jalen Wilson of Kansas. 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, leading the way for the Jayhawks. Knocking down the elbow jumper right there. Did a little bit of everything for Kansas in the first 20 minutes. Jeremy Roach of Duke is the high scorer in the game. He had 11 points in the first half. And a closer than it felt kind of first half, with Kansas leading by only 4 in this ESPN Sonic blockbuster. Second game here at the State Farm Champions Classic. Back here in Indianapolis, Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, tell us some of the things Kansas is doing well offensively.
Well, Kansas did a really good job. They turned it over too much, but they did a good job when they got into some of those middle third of the floor pick and rolls, because they were able to eliminate some weak side help and were able to get to the basket as a result. You can see the screen being set up top right in the middle of the floor. Then KJ Adams able to just roll right to the basket, catches it. There's nobody there for the weak side help in order to keep him from getting to the basket. And then here you're going to see essentially a double pick and roll. So Jalen Wilson sets the first, then flares off, and then you can see Uday just wide open down the middle. I think you're going to see Kansas set more of those in the second half. And you know, Duke manufactured a lot of points. Duke only had 2 assists in that first half, but they got to the free throw line, knocked down 8 of 9.
Underway now in the second half of our Sonic blockbuster matchup. Duke with the first possession of the game. Interesting, Mark Mitchell, who had 15.5 points per game in the first 2, did not score in the first half. Picked up a couple of quick fouls, only played 10 minutes. Tough turnaround there for Tyrese Proctor for his first points of the night.
Well, there you can see the talent of Tyrese Proctor. He's a good shooter, can handle, pass, and often makes the right play. He's also got terrific speed and really should arguably still be in high school if he didn't reclass.
Tough one. Turnaround for Jalen Wilson not there. And Filipowski down with a rebound. Filipowski had a nice first half. 7 points, 5 rebounds. Look out. Roach stepped on the foot of McCullough, but appears to be okay as we check in with Holly Rowe.
Checking in with Kansas assistant coach Norm Roberts at the half. He said the turnovers, they just killed us. He said some of them were just one-handed bad passes, others were ill-advised. He wants them to be a little bit more fundamental. He said a few came out of confusion, not everybody knowing exactly what they're running, so they'll clean that up. But then game rebounding has to be a focus here in the second half as well.
Ollie, thank you. The drive by Roach, the foul by Harris. Again, I think everybody knows, but if anybody doesn't, Norm Roberts, this is game 3 of 4 of the university-imposed suspensions on head coach Bill Self and assistant coach Curtis Townsend. So Roberts, former head coach of St. John's and a longtime assistant to Bill Self at the helm tonight.
He's with Bill Self at Oral Roberts, Tulsa, Illinois, Kansas before going on to St. John's. Then he was an assistant at Florida for a while before coming back to Kansas. Good pass.
And McCullough called for the foul. And he thought he had it clean. He thought he blocked that one clean, but he gets whistled for the foul. So at the line is Mitchell. We didn't talk about him a lot in the first half. Had some foul trouble. What does he bring to the Blue Devils program?
Yeah, he reminds you a little bit. Remember Wenyen Gabriel at Kentucky? He reminds you a little bit of Gabriel, except I think he's actually better at this stage of his career. Long and athletic, really bouncy, sort of a high energy forward that can switch off 1 through 5. You know, he can grab and go, grab a rebound and initiate offense. Just a really good player.
And he was the last of the big 4, if you will, in this Duke class to commit to the program. Committed late. Wilson forcing the issue and hanging and hitting.
Boy, that was a hard take to the basket. Went right through Ryan Young.
Would you have him on your... And he's a very good player. Not like he's coming out of nowhere here. Is now a nice look ahead. And Harris will lay it in. Terrific defense at the other end by Adams.
Yeah, just great hands to get around and knock that ball away, because if he misses it, that's an easy basket.
Back to Jalen Wilson. Do you think he's got a chance to go from really nice player to star this year?
I think so. I mean, he's a mid-range player. Proctor's he's going to be a big-time player. He's an NBA player. And the more aggressive he is, the better Duke's going to be.
Boy, Wilson's so aggressive tonight when he's got the ball. Adams kicks it out to McCullough, 10 to shoot. Step-in jumper. Kept alive by Harris. Well, he took that away from Filipowski.
I don't know how he got that ball. Just he was so strong in going after it. And he's got a great feel. He gets a ton of deflections. His hands are fantastic defensively. He gets a ton of steals and deflections, and that was essentially just a takeaway of a rebound that somebody else had.
Not very big, not that fast, but really smart, great vision, gets where he wants to go, makes everybody around him better. Proctor into Filipowski, got a mismatch here.
Grady Dick had his arm around him. That's going to be a foul on Grady Dick.
Up top was pretty impressive from Ernest Udeh Jr., but the foul on Grady Dick.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons you don't want to foul, is because you got somebody come over and block it. But he took the initial shot with the chest, but just wrapped his right arm around Filipowski for the foul.
So the 7-foot freshman from Westtown, New York, had a double-double in each of his first 2 games this season.
It's amazing of the players in this game, how many of their moms were outstanding basketball players. I mean, Filipowski's mom, Becky, played at Long Beach State and was an outstanding player. But so many of these players, you know, you think about, well, their dad played, their moms were outstanding.
Yeah. Filipowski's twin brother Matthew is a player as well. He's at Harvard. And they're back within 1. Wilson not there. Filipowski the rebound, and Duke has a chance to take the lead.
It's been 1 and out on these shots. Not a whole lot of offensive rebound opportunities for Kansas.
Lively back into the game, setting the ball screen. Proctor, nice look. Mitchell, extra pass. Roach, weak side follow for Lively, and Duke has the lead.
Through 2 shot blockers. Anytime 2 shot blockers go after the ball, if they don't get it, it's an automatic offensive rebound.
The lead does not last long. K.J. Adams Jr. with the answer at the other end.
K.J. Adams from Austin, Texas. He may be undersized, but he is one powerful athlete.
Played off the bench for the most part last year, averaged just 5 minutes per game. A guy who will have a much bigger role this year with the departures of David McCormick and Mitch Lightfoot. And Tyrese Proctor is putting on a show right now for the Blue Devils.
We're seeing a different Tyrese Proctor in this second half. This is the best he's played in Duke's 3 games, and this is the kind of player you should expect to see the rest of the year.
He's got 7, all of them here in the second half, but Wilson finds his way to the bucket and ties it again.
Boy, crafty. You know, Jalen Wilson has gotten bigger, he's strong, but that was a crafty play where he was completely under control.
Mitchell, he's left-handed, and it helps right there. 2-point lead Duke.
Right now, Proctor guarding Grady Dick, who's in the right-hand corner.
Wilson with some space and left the floater short. Boy, he might have had more time and space than he realized. Could have pulled up for a jumper.
Well, he could have gotten all the way to the rim is what he could have done, because that floater was floating backwards.
And Roach will call a timeout. A long stretch without a whistle. Better action here to open up the second half as the lead goes back and forth. And the Blue Devils, despite the fact it felt like they've been outplayed at times tonight, they have come back to take the lead. Lively with the follow. Proctor having a big second half. And the Blue Devils are up by 2 on Kansas. No shrimp cocktail at Sonic, but there's a lot of shrimp cocktail here at St. Elmo's in Indianapolis, and you better believe that Jay Billis wants some shrimp cocktail. Jay Billis gets shrimp cocktail right out of the restaurant and right to you.
This may rival ice cream at Rupp.
Don't get crazy, but all right.
I won't get crazy, but
enjoy.
It's not a bad idea.
This is at least your second shrimp cocktail in as many nights
of the day.
Did you have another one?
I'll be with you. I'll be with you later.
He'll be back with us out of the next timeout. Holly, you got one? Oh, Holly's got one too.
I'm scared to eat mine because you've had this sauce before and it makes your nose all teared up and crying. So I don't want to cry on TV.
What a play by Kyle Filipowski. That was as strong a take as you're going to see.
And now an offensive foul against the Jayhawks, and Filipowski and the Blue Devils are some kind of fired up.
What a big-time play out of the timeout.
The shrimp cocktail may have distracted some of you from what happened, Jay. Let's take another look.
Just the keeper looked like it was going to be a handoff, just takes it all the way in with the left hand. Two-hand dunk. Big-time play.
Number 4.
How about number 1 and number 2? Sunday, Aaliyah Boston and number 1 South Carolina taking on number 2 Stanford at Maples Pavilion. This one will be great. Coverage begins at 3 Eastern on ABC and the ESPN app. And part of our coverage team is Holly Rowe. Holly, what do you got on this game?
Well, I'm so excited. These two teams have history together. Of course, Stanford knocking South Carolina out 2 years ago to win the national championship. South Carolina winning the title this year. And how about this? The WNBA draft lottery was held this week, and Aaliyah Boston of South Carolina projected to be the number 1 pick. Indiana Fever got the number 1 pick. She might be playing right here in this building next season.
Very cool. Enjoy. Big game in women's college basketball on Sunday. Boy, Filipowski is feeling it right now. Couldn't finish that one. Mitchell blocked from behind by Uday Jr.
Boy, physical play around the basket. And you're having not just to go over people, you're having to go through them in order to score. But Duke has 10 offensive rebounds in this game, 11 second chance points. That's been a huge factor. And how about these plays made by the freshman Kyle Filipowski? What, he's got 13 points, 8 rebounds now? That's a big-time game.
You look at some of the numbers. 2 for 12 from 3, 4 assists to 12 turnovers. They've had 7 shots blocked. That's their first block. You look at some of the Duke numbers and you'd say there's no way they could be winning this game. And they're winning by 6.
Well, they're shooting a really high percentage in the second half, but they've also kept Kansas off the free throw line. Kansas only shot 3 free throws. Duke is 11 of 13. And so those are maybe some quieter points that Duke has that have given the Blue Devils a 6-point lead in this one.
And Kansas led by as many as 11 in the first half. Harris with the left hand. Loose ball down to the Blue Devils. Here comes Roach.
And Duke's tightened its defense up in the second half, and Filipowski's had to switch off on some guards. Now he's got Grady Dick on him. I'd go inside to Filipowski, let him post up Grady Dick.
Roach the drive, knocked away by Uday. Uday doing some good things to the defensive end. Wilson doing some good things at the offensive end.
Boy, what a beautiful move by Jalen Wilson. If he had gone up on the right side of the basket, Lively probably blocks it. Took it to the other side and got it up quickly and used some English to bank it in. That was really beautiful.
Proctor, nice cross-court look. Roach in the corner. Mitchell getting some work done on the offensive glass.
Boy, Mitchell just took out Grady Dick, and yet another offensive rebound basket for Duke. That's what, 11 offensive rebounds, 13 points now off the offensive glass.
Wilson turnaround. Tough shot. Ten to shoot. Wilson again. Pettiford. Floater. Got it.
Boy, beautiful. And a terrific cut. The cut behind the drive at Jalen Wilson. Bobby Pettiford. That was not an easy shot.
And as Norm Roberts told us, a healthy Bobby Pettiford, a real spark for this team this year. Mitchell, too easy to get inside. Wow.
With some hesitation to see whether the help was going to come to cut off the basket, and Mitchell just took it all the way.
Mitchell's got 7, all of them here in the second half. Harris with the soft touch off the glass at the other end. We saw a couple of those from Xavier Wheeler of Kentucky in the first game.
I think DeJuan Harris needs to come out of the ball game. He may be cramping up a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like it. Proctor. And it's Kansas ball. There is a timeout coming on the next whistle. Wilson tried the up and under again, gets it back. Boy, he is going right into the teeth of the defense, and he ran into not one but 2 7-footers. And one of them just went coast to coast.
Not going to count. They got a foul on the floor out by the elbow of the free throw
line.
Right.
Still, Filipowski doing some impressive things. Duke has taken the lead here in the second half.
Boy, it has been physical and tough. Great block with the left hand by Derek Lively, and Mitchell taking it with the right hand. He's left-handed all the way to the rim for the flush.
Back, let's take a look at tonight's Sonic blockbuster, and it was from the first game. Jay, Michigan State, time and time again, finding a way to force another overtime and eventually winning.
Out of bounds underneath Malik Hall with a slip to the basket. Everybody worried about the cutters, but he just slips in. And then what a brilliant out of bounds play to go length of the court. There's a terrific pass fake to the corner by Malik Hall, and he gets all the way to the bucket, and then Tyson Walker, to put an exclamation point on it, just lobs it up to Mady Sissoko. Sissoko had 16 points, 8 rebounds. Just a tremendous job. Joey Hauser, 23 points, 8 boards, 4 of 7 from 3. Just a fantastic performance, especially in the second half and overtime by Michigan State.
And coming off the 1-point loss to Gonzaga on Friday night, to win an emotional game like this tonight, just huge for Tom Izzo's Spartans. Proctor, 18-footer. And a good rebound in traffic there by Ejiofor. And here comes Kansas in transition. McCullough. And the threes are not falling. The two teams are 4 for 30. Getting inside's the way to go. McCullough moving without the ball.
Great offensive rebound by Wilson and a terrific cut.
Boy, how about Jalen Blake's kind of taking out 2 defenders and leaving a lane for his buddy Ryan Young.
Really, Kansas is going to have to start getting some stops.
Yesufu, floater, around and out.
Well, Duke has had second chance opportunities. Kansas not so much. They had one the last possession where Jalen Wilson got the offensive rebound, but it's been Duke that's done great work on the offensive glass.
Yesufu knocks it away. Pettiford. Yesufu left hand, tipped up and in by Wilson.
Boy, that was gang offensive rebounding there. A terrific controlled tip by Jalen Wilson,
who seems to be favoring his left hand right now.
Yesufu getting in there to make that steal, and then Wilson just goes right over the top of Jeremy Roach to tip that thing in. Didn't give up on the play. A double-double, another one for Jalen Wilson. And Kyle Filipowski back in the ballgame. Filipowski's got 13 points and 9 rebounds. If he grabs another rebound, that's 3 straight double-doubles in his first 3 games as a freshman. I don't think any Duke freshman's ever done that.
No, Marvin Bagley and Filipowski each in their first 2 games, but no Duke freshman's ever had 3 in a row to begin his career. Young, nice kick. Blake's wide open. Kansas ball. Wilson again. Boy, is he getting to the rim every single time he wants to.
We got to keep him out of the middle. It looked like he was going to bring the ball back out front and gave a little fake that direction and then immediately put the ball on the deck. Look how he just gave a little bit of a shake, and Jeremy Roach was just out of position and gave up that wing drive all the way to the rim.
How about this? Averaged 20 and 10 in the first 2 games against Omaha and North Dakota State. Already got 20 and 10 right now with 9-12. Give him 21 and 10 right now as we check in again with Holly.
Well, Jalen Wilson ready to take over as the leader of this team, and you see it on the court with his play, but also off the court with his leadership. He worked all summer with Ochai Agbaji in Dallas, a pro player, to try to get his game right. And guys, he's coming into this season knowing that he's the guy. He said it to me in the offseason. This is me and DeJuan's team. We're going to be the guys for this team. And he is accepting all of the responsibility, all of that ownership. And it is palpable over here on the bench how he's communicating and how he is stepping up right now.
Well, 2 straight years Jalen Wilson's declared for the NBA draft and decided to come back. So went through the process, but he's really adding to his game. And his ability to shoot the ball is the next step. Can he be a consistent 3-point shooter, pull-up jump shooter? Because he's always been an excellent slot driver. He's a big-time, I think he's a big-time defensive rebounder. And one of those guys that can grab and go and an excellent transition forward. But if he can add a consistent perimeter 3, you know, you're looking at an NBA player.
Proctor knocks down a couple of free throws. He's having a big second half for Duke. And the lead changes hands again. Backdoor, and that's pretty low percentage play there from Wilson trying to find Harris on the baseline, and it goes out of bounds.
That's a good idea, but just a difficult needle to thread. Yeah, the first cutter, second cutter. The first cutter cut to the basket from the wing, and then DeJuan Harris was cutting from the corner. But just the cut softens up the defense. You don't have to throw the pass if it's not there.
Proctor got it back. Roach lively juggling the pass. Boy, what a battle underneath. And the call is going against Duke.
I think he got him on an offensive foul with a push-off. But the first one blocked, got hit in the face there, and then you saw that right arm come up. Now the referee's going to look to see if there was anything flagrant there.
Boy, physical stuff underneath between Filipowski and Ejiofor.
I'd be really surprised if anything flagrant comes out of this. Now see, so you got one referee underneath calling a defensive foul, and then the other ref coming in from the top saying no offensive foul. So Jeffrey Anderson underneath, he calls a foul on the defense, and then Roger Ayers calls it on the offense. Interesting situation.
And Roger Ayers coming over to the table now. They've had a look at the monitor. Common foul, offensive foul, nothing flagrant or anything, but it is Kansas ball. Well, you've seen a lot of Filipowski over the last couple of years. For people who haven't seen that much of him, we talked about his ability to shoot and pass and some of the finesse skills. We've seen a real physical side to him tonight. Is that a common part of his game?
Yeah, no, he's a really physical player, and he's continuing to evolve to be a good defender. And because of his athleticism, how he can move his feet, you know, he can switch out and guard smaller players.
Pettiford penetrates, beautiful feed. Ejiofor called for a travel.
Nothing is coming easy in this game. It's one where you just have to keep fighting.
Well, there was some of that in the first game tonight, too, probably, between Michigan State and Kentucky. Roach rejected by Ejiofor. And for Kansas, that is their 11th block shot of the night.
Talk about everything being contested. Ejiofor waited till Roach went up, and then he left the floor and got it with the left hand. Because there have been so many big-time plays around the rim to save buckets.
Well, back in the first Champions Classic on this date, 11 years ago, is when Mike Krzyzewski passed Bob Knight for the all-time Division I wins record. He would go on to coach for 11 or more years, over 1,200 wins. He is the record holder. Jon Scheyer's got 2 in his first year, 2-0 in his first 2 games. But I think everybody believes he is going to have a tremendous coaching career as well at his alma mater. Wait till you see what Holly Rowe dug up. Holly?
Well, I was lucky enough to cover Jon Scheyer when he was a player at Duke, and I love these handwritten notes I got from Coach K. He plays with his heart. He only wants to win. He had such a unique competitive makeup. He was the heart and soul of that team that was struggling midseason and went on to win a national championship. I know that a lot of people wonder how he'll do, but I know he is essentially equipped to be successful at Duke. That's the competitive spirit this young man has.
Jay, you've known Jon Scheyer a long time. And what do you think about, we've talked about how the transition has been so smooth. What do you think about, you know, his ability to lead a program of this magnitude as his first head coaching job?
I think he's the right guy at the right time. He's done a magnificent job thus far, and I think it'll continue. He's built for this, and he's been around the program forever. He's a terrific, technically sound. He knows the game, knows how to teach it, and he's got a fantastic demeanor.
Jumper not there for McCullough. Yeah, he certainly seems incredibly comfortable in his, at the beginning, just at the outset of his first season as the head coach. Seven minutes to go. Duke by 1.
Proctor's got a good matchup to be able to drive with KJ Adams on him.
Mitchell thought about the 3 and now runs right into Wilson. And Adams runs into Proctor at the other end, and this one's coming back. Going the other way, offensive foul, KJ Adams Jr. And that is number 4 on him.
Boy, terrific play here by Jalen Wilson to knock it away, and Kansas with an advantage situation. And Proctor just able to get in front and take it right through the chest.
Just a great early test for both programs, and they've got more coming. Kansas is headed to the battle for Atlantis. Duke is headed to Portland as part of the Phil Knight, the PK Nike tournament. Could have a Duke Gonzaga matchup up there depending on how things go.
I don't think anybody turned that one down.
No, certainly not you and me. Harris with a floater. And Filipowski down with a rebound.
This has been an incredibly physical game around the bucket.
Kansas fans wanted to travel on Filipowski. How about a 7-footer with a shot fake from 3? Spinning, dribbling, getting to the rim, following up his own miss and laying it in.
And another offensive rebound basket for Duke. That has been a huge separator in this game. That's at least 17 second chance points. And then Duke has also had a huge advantage from the free throw line. Kansas has not been able to get to the line much at all. I think they've only shot 4 or 5 free throws.
And again, we talked about it in the first half, some missed opportunities then for the Jayhawks. A little bit careless with an advantage in transition 3 or 4 times. Felt like they should have had a bigger lead than they had as Young called for the foul, called for the travel rather.
Filipowski's got really good feet. Spins right in there, but he's also 7 feet tall. Gets his offensive rebound and able to go right through the arms of Jalen Wilson to get that stick back. And he's just been terrific in this game.
15 and 12 and has worked hard for every one of them. And there's a travel on Jalen Wilson. Jeremy Roach causing that turnover. And for large, long stretches of this game, Duke has had 3 freshmen on the floor, at times 4.
You better get used to that.
Yep.
That's going to be the way it is. And that's with Dariq Whitehead still not healthy and able to play. He should be back next week.
That was clean up top. Roach has it.
We thought that could have been a jump ball, a tie-up.
Proctor spinning. What a feed. Somehow found Young. Filipowski yet again.
But Tyrese Proctor is a playmaker. That was a big-time pass.
Grady Dick had some nice moments in the first half. Hasn't played much here in the second. As Norm Roberts wants a timeout. His Jayhawks are down by 5 right now with less than 4.5 to go.
Proctor with a fantastic pass, Young with the miss, and Filipowski right there for another offensive rebound basket. Duke has dominated the offensive glass.
Jason Tatum loving it. ESPN's. Scott, thank you very much. Looking forward to that. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Holly Rowe here in Indianapolis. And part of the big story for Duke has been Kyle Filipowski. 17 points, 13 rebounds tonight. Duke as a team has 19 offensive rebounds on 39 missed shots. So they're getting almost exactly half of their misses, and they've turned those 19 offensive rebounds into 19 second chance points.
Well, that's been a huge factor. I mean, Duke's only got 7 assists in this ball game. But because they've done such great work on the offensive glass and gotten to the free throw line way more than Kansas, they've got this 5-point lead.
Wilson continues to work hard and continues to put up numbers. He's got 23.
23 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists for Jalen Wilson. Now he's guarding Kyle Filipowski.
Giving up some size in that matchup.
Juwan Harris trying to ice that ball screen, keep Jeremy Roach to one side.
Filipowski misses the 3. Kansas ball.
Now Kansas has his best lineup back in the game.
Kentucky and Gonzaga, another great game to look forward to Sunday night here on ESPN. Good look for Wilson, but he can't knock it down, and Mitchell down with the board.
But Kansas has really struggled to shoot the three in this ball game. That's 2 of 18 now for the Jayhawks. And you're not going to get a better look than that standstill corner three after that great pass from DeJuan Harris. Now got the switch. Roach being guarded by Grady Dick.
Pull up three. Wide left. Young the offensive rebound, and it did hit the rim, so the shot clock did go back to 20, and now it's Kansas ball.
And Kansas with just under 3 minutes to go in regulation. This is a huge possession for the Jayhawks.
Lively coming into the defensive end now for Jon Scheyer and Duke.
Kansas wants to try to draw these Duke big guys away from the basket and then attack.
Wilson, so many different moves. What a follow by McCullough.
McCullough went right over Ejiofor's back. You can't foul your own player. Just a great play by Kevin McCullough.
And Jon Scheyer will take a timeout with 2:37 to go, and the lead down to 1.
You can see Wilson just curling in, doing a really nice job to get that off the rim. And then just right over his own teammate's back. You can't foul your teammate.
Over the back. No.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Depends who's back.
You're right. It's fine. Well, tell us what you've learned about the 4 teams that we've seen here tonight.
Well, I was really impressed with the fight that was shown by Michigan State. You know, the game they played against Gonzaga on the aircraft carrier, they had a chance to win it. Didn't execute in the last play of that game. Look, it's difficult. The wind was blowing. They were outside. I get it. But for them to execute the way they did down the stretch and in both overtime periods was a huge step forward, I think, for Tom Izzo's team. And then, you know, neither team in this game, this has been an incredibly physical game, hasn't it? But neither team has shot the ball well. And clearly a young lady that's been listening to us. Out.
Yeah, I thought this game might be the more up and down, higher scoring game. But as you say, it has been a brawl at times.
It's
Very
been a
physical.
fist fight, hasn't it? But neither team shot the ball well, and they've had some open shots.
Mitchell turns it over. Kansas can reclaim the lead. Grady Dick for 3. Yes! His first points of the second half.
Now, after essentially the unforced error that led to an open 3 for Grady Dick, can Duke calm down and get a good shot here?
McCullough gambled. Roach open. And Duke back on top.
Boy, McCullough almost had an interception to take it the other way. What an amazing play and a great shot by Jeremy Roach.
Up top. And Grady Dick lays it in. The assist to Harris. Kansas back on top.
Just no pressure on DeJuan Harris, so he's able to deliver that pass. But another fantastic cut by Grady Dick.
9th assist of the night for Harris. Offensive foul going against the Blue Devils. How many times have we seen that tonight? And again, lowering that shoulder. A minute 20 to go. Kansas with the ball and a 1-point lead. Baseline Wilson gets cut off by Mitchell.
Smart play to get it back out. When Kansas has moved it from side to side, they've had some opportunities.
Wow, what a play. Grady Dick with 3 consecutive buckets for the Jayhawks.
And give credit to Jalen Wilson for throwing that ball back out. That helped lead to that basket.
Into the final minute of regulation. Crossover Roach. No basket. Foul before the shot.
DeJuan Harris is cramping up. You can see he's trying to shake that off. It's that left It looks like the left calf. Maybe he twisted an ankle there too, but remember earlier on he asked to come out because he was cramping up. You've seen Kansas here. Both teams have shown it throughout the game, but especially of late, Kansas showed some real championship mettle, making some huge plays down the stretch, especially the freshman Grady Dick.
And you can see, yeah, reaching down for that left ankle, so he might have a couple of different things going on here. 1-1 for Roach. Kansas ball. Now Duke has only committed 3 fouls here in the second half.
Well, which means they can be aggressive. I'm not sure they're aware of it.
They're going to play out this possession, obviously, and look to get a stop. Adams. And one.
Boy, what a beautiful pass. And again, the middle of the floor, that middle third, has been really good for Kansas. But Kansas was struggling to score through most of this second half. And then the last 3 minutes, we've seen a different Kansas team. That middle ball screen set by KJ Adams, and then was able to absorb the contact. Look how he never took his eyes off the rim and completed the play. What a big time play and a big time delivery by DeJuan Harris.
Misses the free throw. 20 seconds to go. Roach looking for the quick bucket, and he'll get it.
Boy,
power through McCullough, huh?
Yeah, McCullough tried to tie him up. That could have easily been a foul.
And now they got a foul, and they will. And again, they are not at the limit yet. That'll be the 5th.
Let's see, it's not that much of a concern about the foul. What a great take, but man, my goodness, it's amazing how physical this game has been. But right now, Duke doesn't have to worry about fouling. Go for the steal,
right,
and be as aggressive as you can. And for Kansas, it's just about possession. And if you get tied up, remember Kansas has the possession arrow.
And Blake's with a hard foul there on Wilson. That is team foul number 6, so still no free throws. And Doug Sermon's one of the officials talking to Jalen Blakes right now.
I don't understand that. I mean, if there's a flagrant to be called, call it. But he was asking him, what are you doing? I mean, it's either flagrant or it's not.
And there's number 7, so that will send the Jayhawks to the line. 1-1 for Wilson.
Remember, Kansas hasn't shot many free throws in this game. This will be, what, free throw number 6?
Yeah, they are just 2 for 5 as a team. Wilson 1 for 2. 5 for 6 on the year.
Free throw blockouts become big.
Rattles it home to make it a 4-point game. Boy, what a night he's had.
So even if Wilson makes this, Duke doesn't have to have a 3 right away. Get it down court and get it to the rim.
Timeout.
Boy, what a comeback by Kansas.
Wilson has been the most consistent player all night long, and maybe the dominant player.
The 3, and then the going all the way for the lob from the wing, no pressure on the ball, and then this terrific back cut. And how about this finish with the right hand off the glass going to the rim? Just 3 big time plays by the freshman from Wichita. And right now, Duke has to get the ball in quickly and get it all the way to the rim. And if somebody comes off a 3-point shooter, fine, but you need 2 scores. And job number 1 is get 1 quick one.
Proctor, he'll take a 3. Filipowski down with it. He'll take a 3, and that will do it. The Kansas Jayhawks, after surrendering the lead in the second half, regain it in the closing minutes and beat Duke 69-64, Jay, in a hard-fought battle here tonight.
Boy, tremendous job by Kansas down the stretch. It looked like the game was getting away from them, but Kansas made some championship plays in the last 3 minutes on both ends of the floor in an incredibly physical contest.
A 15-5 run to end the game for the Jayhawks. And again, just a magnificent night for Jalen Wilson. 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. And he had help from Kevin McCullough, Grady Dick, DeJuan Harris, and others. Kansas winning the game as we send it over to Holly Rowe.
Hey, a career high for you, Jalen. How did you take ownership of this team and this game down the stretch?
Just letting everybody know that it's a long game. You know, no matter what the score is, got to keep our composure and got to play Kansas basketball. You know, it's a lot of up and downs in this game, high-level basketball, and we've got to play our game and play patient.
Duke is so big, and time again, you went in there to the boards, to the glass. How were you able to do that and continue to finish?
Just being aggressive, you know, seeing that we had mismatches, just getting downhill, you know, in moments like this, can't settle for shots, got to get in the paint, create fouls, create contact, and that's what we're able to do.
Career high points and rebounds, but this guy was getting the ball to everybody. DeJuan, you played 35 minutes. You're cramping up down there. How were you able to be so effective?
Chad gave me some pills and some stuff to keep me some energy, but really, I give my credit to my teammates for setting. I was setting them up, but you know they made the plays for me, so I was just looking for a wide open teammate.
This was hard. You guys had to play some really good defense, go on a run to close it out. How did your defense contribute in this moment?
You know, Jeremy Rose, he's one of the best point guards in the country. So, you know, I just try to stay in front of him and try to make plays for my team.
I know you guys had to do this without Coach Self. How did you continue to play to the Coach Self standard tonight?
Really, he's been on us all week. You know, this is Duke versus Kansas, so we got to bring it every game. We know it's going to be a grind-out game. It's going to be a defensive possession game, so we just got to keep grinding every game.
I was texting with him earlier, and he said if you guys didn't play good defense, he was going to be into you. Do you think he's proud of you tonight?
I think he's proud. We can always get better, but, you know, we're going to take the win for sure.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Holly. What a night of basketball here. Michigan State beats Kentucky in double overtime in the first game, and then Kansas defeats Duke by 5 in the second game here for the State Farm Champions Classic, and the celebration is on for the Jayhawks. For Jay Billis, Holly Rowe, and our entire crew, I'm Dan Schulman. Thanks so much for watching tonight. What a night for college basketball as we send it back to the studio and our guy, SVP.